Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm good morning to you. I'm greatly impacted by what I've seen this morning, your love and your caring, and I'd like to add my word as a visitor to honor those that have stood on this platform, all of you before me. I want you to know that I have been very much welcomed, but nevertheless I still feel something of the odd man out. I reckon, as my wife predicted, I'm probably the only person here who does not have an accent. My wife is American, well actually she's from Texas, which is almost the same thing, and she constantly teases me that after living in this country for 20 years, I still, to her mind, speak like Mrs. Thatcher in drag. And she puzzles endlessly why the Germans, not the Norwegians so much, but the Germans and the British, no matter how long we live in this country, never seem to lose our accent. You agree with that? The reason that she's come up with for it, and I can't validate it, but this is her opinion, is because of our mothers. She reckons in England, mothers put kids into underpants that are too tight. Which not only accounts for the strangled vowels I said, but also the very pompous way the British walk. Have you seen this? I've been looking forward to this occasion for many months now, and my wife is afraid that because of my enthusiasm and, frankly, my honor and respect for who you are and what you represent, I might go on too long. And she's always looking after your interests. Before I left, she came up with a quote from the old English author Charles Dickens. She said, "Put this in your pocket and this will keep you on time." If I might, I'll read it to you. This is what Dickens said in some of his private writings. "No man should speak for a greater duration than he can sustain the act of lovemaking." So in conclusion, let me tell you what you got from this presentation today. How many of you have watched the National Geographic Society television programs and wondered how on earth do they get those incredible pictures? That's the question people usually ask me. How, in other words, are we able to attain incredible results based in a world of uncertainty? How, in other words, can we get something where our mission and goal is right up there, starting off with our feet in the mud in clay, as every one of us does? In this presentation today, I'm going to share with you some of the strategies that we use, and I think you might be surprised to find that the identical strategies will work, do work, for every other profession, including your own. First of all, let me tell you that most people don't recognize why our job is as hard as it is. I recognize that your jobs have great challenges. The economic environment in which you work, the staff turnovers, the overwhelming burden of administration that you have to properly attend. These are your downsides. Our downsides, which you probably never realized, is that animal programs last forever. Whether there's the recent Super Bowl or an O.J. Simpson event, a couple of years you won't be seeing that. But films that we made 20 years ago are still being rerun through Discovery Channel and A&E in just the same way that you would never know an old elephant from a new one. The filmmakers look much older, you will see that. but the animals look just the same. What does that mean? When we go to National Geographic and say, we want to make a new film on alligators or fleas, they will say, well, that's fine, but you know, fleas have been filmed already. Cheetahs have been filmed already. What are you going to do that's different from the programs that we are going to rerun? In other words, the challenge to us is, what can you achieve? You predict that you'll get on film for us. They're going to make people talk about it later over the drinking fountains and on the way to work. How do we do that? Because that's our challenge. But we have some upsides too, and I'm going to suggest you have some upsides too. One of them, candidly, is that your state is, in my mind, the pioneer in your industry for innovation and enterprise. The diversity of approaches attendant upon different options for matching the consumer needs when dealing with the elderly. I think you're into one of the more innovative states that's ever been around doing this. Our upsides are things that I'd never thought of as an old professor of biology. What the public want for a successful wildlife film is this: sequences that when they see them and their heart is warmed like a little baby animal, inside them wells up the sentiment, "Ah, isn't it nice?" Or sometimes when some awesome spectacle takes place before your eyes, they're likely to go, "Ooh."